Hello, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with another episode of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 9.11, and of course we're playing as Germany. We ended last time in a crash, and I'm not exactly sure why it happened, but we did have one. And I'm just saying this again. I copied this exact install, over from my old Windows 7 machine to my new Windows 10 machine. And in doing so, I got a lot more save game problems on the Windows 10. So I don't know. And because it happened right around the first of the month, but I think it was after the first of the month. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. So, I just don't know. And so sometimes, you know what, I'll tell you, you may do everything exactly right like I did and can't get the game started and going at all. I know one person didn't seem to get the message, was posting over in the Black Ice forums. Oh, I'm looking over, I think the night that I'm making this episode is going to be late. But, and that I responded to him, well, you know, I did a custom start and whatever, and Hitler dies. I go, yeah, don't do custom start because Hitler dies. And he says, but I haven't been blah, 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 blah. And several other people, well, if you do these, you know, various things, then they list some things like tag switching, and, well, I don't even know how to do that. And that, no. And then, oh my God, post, don't use custom starts. I guess I wasn't clear enough when I posted the custom start on Black Ice for a long time, years now, long before Oh My God was in charge of it, of developing it. You use the custom start, it won't work. Not to say you can't play a game with it, but like all your leaders die and other kinds of other weirdness happen, and it just doesn't work. So even if you do, but my point is even if you do everything right, you for some reason, and I don't know what it might be, whether it's your operating system, something in your drive settings, because that's what I think mine is that it goes to sleep, or it's some of the stuff may be a memory allocation element that is just not optimally set. And so things just aren't being handled well. And unfortunately, I don't know what my problems all are. I can't fix yours. I don't know that anybody can fix yours, whatever yours are, because I don't know if there is a definable, oh, it's problem X, just change. Because I have extended how quickly does your drive go to sleep. I made it like 4 hours or something like that before my hard drive will go to sleep. And when I put it on my SSD, NVMe SSD, which I thought should work great, oh man, I have a lot more crashing troubles on saving than I do on my conventional hard drive. So why does it crash more on what should be an easier to save drive because it writes to it faster? I don't know. And maybe it's just, if there was some true expert on these drives and a true expert on what happens when the game decides to save itself or something like that. Oh, go check this other box, or go just do settings change, from 300 to 600, or I don't know what it might be. I mean, it might be something so super simple, but I just have no clue. So I'm sorry. I mean, not to say you don't shouldn't ask questions. You should, of me or somebody else. When I got a recent on the installation guide video within the last week or so, got another question there, getting save game crashes, and I just basically, yes, sorry to hear it, pointed them to the thread on the Black Ice forum on how to solve save game crashes, because I don't know what yours problems may be. I don't even know what mine are. I can point to what works in some cases. you know, and one of those may solve your problem. So that's it. Another thing is I do have my air conditioning on now. It's finally gotten warm enough in Southern California that I do, and I noticed before starting this that I'm getting background noise recorded on my mic. So if sound levels of my voice or irritating background noises are happening now, not that whether you can hear it or not slightly in the background, prefer you not, but if things are like off-putting, please let me know. Now would be a good video to do so that I can correct it and know what some of the problems are. Feedback is always welcome. You can always tell me why. You can always tell me that something sucks here. I'm cool with that, so long, preferably, I mean, obviously you can do what you want, but I'll be happy with you as long as you tell me what and why it sucks, because then I have a chance to, whether I decide to or not, correct it. Again, some people don't like me giving my political opinions ever, at all, at any level. That isn't going to change. That isn't going to stop. But feedback why you don't like it, yeah, okay, I can try to keep it balanced. You know, so there's enough gameplay action. But some things won't ever completely go away. Just, you know, just saying, but I do want the feedback so that I know why people might not like things, and then I have a chance to decide on changing them or not. And, you know, sometimes it's just going to take time, like getting the new mic stand, which gets the mic about, and also on this, it's about 2 or 3 inches from my mouth now. So that's really good, and I think that's fixed the situation where my voice audio levels, I think, are good now. But if they're not too noisy, too popping, you know, or other, obviously it should have a little popping noise when I said that, because I was forcing that on the system. But okay, we've won here, have we? Yes. Now it's going to take until August 15th, about 15 days to march into there. Our blueprints were stolen, and we've got that province finally. Good. We're defending. Should have been flying. Okay, they're here. I know that I sort of messed it up a little bit. I went back a little earlier because of the crash, and I walked in. Please get it to there. Established. Ramkey's division, the 2nd Fallschirmjägers, after removing his, and we're going to do a paradrop right on Colombo. Because these guys are already beaten, so there should be no opposition as soon as they can decline. Get their act together. That could also be why it caused the crashes. Clicking on something in the middle of it trying to save. That I know for sure has caused. Okay, stop. Now if I airborne assault. Come on. I want to get there before any of these guys get a chance to move in, and I can start playing. Well, okay, I don't know. So we've lost very high popularity and gained high popularity. Not good. The Weiße Rose, shortly after the capture of the members of the White Rose, leaflet number 6 was smuggled out of Germany to England, later copied by the Allies and dropped from aircraft as propaganda over Nazi Germany. And this is my understanding. I don't know if this is permanent. I think it is. Into the bricks here, sort of leaflets in the, or if this is was a temporary thing. But I think this is actually a permanent installation in was it Leipzig? I forget what city they were in. University into the ground, as some of their leaflets, the White Rose. And recently I watched the guy from Military History Illustrated talking to the chieftain, the guy who does the inside the tank stuff, talking about some of the political ramifications to this day and dealing with World War II, and how Germans, including Austrians, because he's Austrian, has to sort of be sensitive to the political talks. And I was recently asked, God, I'm really, because I have several names popping, into my head about who's, cause there's a good couple handfuls of people that do a lot of posting, and I Jeff and a bunch of other people. I don't want to start because of who am I going to leave out talking about. I remember who you guys are, but I have trouble who posted what when recently, talking about this, asking about, do I think average German soldiers were bad or whatever, not talking about the Waffen-SS, just about the average one. And I know the World War II generation is now passing. My dad, who was born in 1941, obviously too young to serve in World War II, but he vaguely remembers, in California as a child, just some vague impressions of stuff that would sort of be wartime elements. So yeah, people that were alive, so lots of people are still alive that were alive in World War II. But most of the fighters, and definitely all the political leaders, are, because they're, instead of being 20 years old or 25 years old or something, they were, 35, 55 years old. And so all of them are now long gone, but there's still the World War II generation who have responsibilities. But because, I would say, again, and I know I've talked about this in some different stuff, most of, I would say 80+% of the German population today have ancestors that supported Nazi Germany in one way or another. I'm not saying they were party members and or they themselves did any criminal actions, but they were in the army. So, you're drafted. Yeah, I understand you're drafted, but you're still carrying a gun and you're fighting for Nazi Germany. Again, I'm not saying they did any particular bad or evil actions. I'm just talking about, and now, of course, standard soldiers did commit war crimes. Whether just impromptu or under orders, but they facilitated war crimes, delivered supplies to the Orpo units that were out killing stuff. So they facilitated, they might not have known, as the average supply sergeant, what these people were doing, but they knew that to some level of what they were doing, because it was quite common knowledge, at least in the army, that, a partisan attack, we're going to go round up a bunch of people and execute them, shoot them, or hang them and leave them on street posts with signs around their necks. So trust me, a vast number of soldiers, but that to some degree would be rationalized as, these are partisans, so we did something about it. But anyone who even looks minutely at it realizes a lot of these are just simply, we went and rounded up locals as punishment and did this. So they had to know that bad actions were going on. And I say also huge numbers of women supported the National Socialist regime in like the NSV and many other civilian type organizations. Again, not necessarily committed a single crime. I'm not saying that, but they supported National Socialist Germany, and to some degree, it becomes their nation, and I understand that. It's just the same that everyone who fought in the Soviet war effort was supporting the Stalinist regime, who commits even greater crimes than Nazi Germany. More crimes, bigger crimes than Nazi Germany commits. And of course, the average Soviet soldier may have been drafted and or is just fighting to save his country from destruction by Germany. So again, I'm not trying to blame anybody here right at this moment or blame the Soviet soldier for anything, but, and again, Mikhail, one of the common or often posters and who's really helped me out on a bunch of stuff, I got to know him a little bit, on an online sense, and he seems to be vehemently anti-Bolshevik, anti-Stalinist, but he also seems, again, it's from some of his stuff, very proud of the Great Patriotic War and what possibly family members fought the German invasion. So, it's, this sort of dual sense. So, so Germany, and this just brings it up as why I didn't mean to talk about this episode here. And I've read recently the Hitler's Compromises book. It's a while ago now, before I really, I think, started this series, but read it recently, and he talks about the stuff and how there was massive amounts of pressure on German women to divorce their Jewish husbands. Massive amounts. And I would say a majority of the German women divorce their Jewish husbands. I don't have any solid figures on any of this, but I do believe the majority of mixed couples like that, and I'm talking in this case where the woman was a German woman and the man was Jewish, often a Jewish or a German citizen, or had been at least. I'm talking about specifically about this setting of pairings, and I would say a majority did divorce because there was all kinds of pressure on them. Well, some women didn't. And I mean to the point that they were hauled into, the women as individuals were hauled into the police station. One recounts she was hauled into the police station and sat down on a bench, just somewhere in the police station, and sitting there, I don't know, let's say after 4 or 6 hours, she's just been sitting. No one's, you're brought in, or ordered to come in or whatever, brought in, you sit there, wait there. And she's sitting there and waiting there and worrying about what's going on. After a while, she goes, "Oh my God, are they like arresting him now? Like while I'm here?" So they just told her to sit like on a bench in a public part of the police station. So she just gets up and walks out, hurries home to see if her husband's all right. Well, fortunately, he was. They hadn't come to arrest him, and nobody comes back after her again. This was, I think, more just of an intimidation thing that they were running on her, and they would have eventually, they wanted to sweat her out for the day and then get her into an office and then probably present her with papers. Don't you want to sign these to divorce your husband or something? Okay. Well, forget the date, but let's say late 1944, early 1945 type dates. There was a bunch of Jewish men in the greater Berlin area that had yet to have been arrested. Obviously, they were known. This is in in the hundreds, maybe even in the low thousands, were rounded up in one day. At least 300 of them were married to Jewish women who previously they had not, and they've been told that they were not to be rounded up if they were married to a German woman. So these women immediately, or within the next day, start protesting in a main square street area, I forget what, in Berlin, every single day. They get out there, a bunch of them, there's some out all day, every day. I think they go home at night, but all day, every day. Some of them, not all 300 or so wives all at once, but they're all out there every day. Within a week or so, all of their husbands are back home. Because the National Socialist regime wasn't going to put up with the pressure of 300 women who were protesting them. And this is at the height of sort of SS state power in the collapsing days of the regime, when they were starting to really go mad, if you will, on some of these issues. They still, and this book talks about other resistance movements within, and this is the key, within the German society that was considered acceptable. So if you were a communist agitator, Oh, hey, they would have shot you long ago or imprisoned you and worked you to death or something like that. But if you weren't one of these other groups, they weren't really willing to do too much to you if you were willing to resist the regime. And so, and this was never made it into the papers. There was very little records of this, and this is why some of the stuff hasn't come out. And I think the main reason after the war, the rest of the Germans didn't want this to come out because they wanted to pretend, both I think to themselves and to the rest of the world, they had no choice. The SS and everybody else would have done very, very bad things, possibly killing them, but very, very bad things if they had publicly protested. Well, as it turns out, whenever we see public protests, they don't. And this is one of the few cases in which, because this was very much an anti-war protest, they were killed. And so I just think that it's a terrible, and I know I'm speaking to a good number of Germans here, it's a terrible German shame that there isn't a huge monument in every town to the White Rose. That these people, in a non-violent, sabotage, non-harmful to life or liberty, tried to campaign against the war and Nazi Germany. And this was one of the few cases that I can find where otherwise normal Germans were sort of captured. And it's partially because, unlike the protests and unlike some of the other word-of-mouth things, they were doing a public leafleting campaign, were killed. And it's a rare form that this happens. But had there been not just 12 or 13 of them or some number that I know earlier, I read the names of the ones killed, and no, I can't remember all of their names. I think one of them is Sophie. That there should be monuments to show that some Germans really did publicly say no to the regime, and they paid for their lives for it. But I don't think Germany wants to remember that some people really did resist, because it shows that they could have resisted too, and the evidence shows that had they done so in large numbers, the regime would not, which now we have level 2, would not have done something. Okay, British raids in Italy. Yeah, what the F? Italy can take care of them, presumably. Oh, yeah, well, go for it, Italy. You can take care of them. They'll give you a free port. Okay. The 392nd Croatian Infantry Division was a division of the America. Okay, good. Formation in Austria. Great. Oh, lots of stuff. Okay, so we have another Croatian Infantry Division. Very good. Not sure what we'll use it for. Not that great. I will say this only once. Michelle, there. Tagline. We strike today, and after we do damage to the Germans, we will escape into the night. These Germans will never capture us. They will say this only once. Again, her tagline, which then breaks out a partisan revolt here. With that by Louise, and we'll wait for the battle to start. Louis, this is Renee's group is in Neuville, which is in the province of Boulogne. Michelle's group, Michelle of the Resistance, and Louise is the communist leader. We can't really see but they even have their own whole things. Yeah. Again, this is my first mod that I really made. It's a silly mod, but I am still very proud of it. Okay, guys. Send in Panzers. Okay, U-boat pens in Trondheim constructed. 8,000 supplies, 10,000 energy. Well, we can afford the energy and reasonably enough the supplies, so that's no problem. I like that. I like that this isn't a percentage. It's a specific, knowable amount. And we also gained some doctrinal warfare and point engineering and dockyard facilities. Okay, yeah, I'll pay for that. Establishment of free Greece constant attacks. Okay. Just because I can sort of tell that this image is a little black over here. It's a GGA event. Free Greece. I would not have that event fire under these conditions. I would require no good. Storm Division roads will come in useful. I would require some sort of allied control along the ports of here, because Greece, the only way that they were really able to do any of this stuff is with significant deliveries of allied military materiel. And yes, we'll take the 508th Schwer Panzer Abteilung or whatever. Yep. Is that in the production queue? No, it's on the map. There may have been a bunch of weapons, but I do know that Greece has a real trouble in ammunition supplies. So to sustain any operation, you need ammunition on that scale. So otherwise, I like the event. Okay, well, let's send in Gruber with his little tanks again. I'm still inordinately proud of my original work of this. Okay, we've won in here. Good. We got those guys. They'll come back someday. They're still holding out okay. We're patrolling down here. And no, not there. Oh, is it here? No. Bringing down our big battleships, the ones we finally built. Long delayed. Yeah, your convoy rating. Well, wherever they are. Okay. Why aren't you going? Airborne assault. Okay, combined arms coordination has advanced. Very nice. I know I stopped that because I thought, yeah. And I would rather do like the sure plug doctrine. And nav pilot training has advanced. Yeah, we'll shift over to that. Okay. The 42nd SS, or 41st SS Grenadier Division. Kalevala. Okay, yes, we'll form this. And, nope, it's on the map. Okay, good. Yep, that's about what I thought it, that's about what it should be. Obviously, it is a late war unit that was nowhere near division status. There were lots of those types of things. Okay, we'll give him the job. Let's come over here and build. Okay, well, what do I have currently in the sort of reserve? Not a lot of SS units. Okay, yeah, not a lot at all. I'm thinking support units now. Let's go with a Yeah, but we only want one of them. Start production on that. We're not going to make it some super division because it wasn't, but we're going to give it some things like some artillery. And yeah, let's give it some anti-tank guns. Just basic ones. Okay, artillery, anti-tank. Yeah, I think that'll be it actually. So that'll make it, because it has a headquarters and infantry battalion that'll eventually get organized up, but that'll be good. Maybe we'll add something more, but I'm a little sort of pissed why this isn't operating. I really am. What is keeping it from... Okay, you're no longer... Sure, you can have energy. And no. We've already come down too much, even though we should be growing. Okay, well... We won here, and Gruber can get his tanks back home. Midget frogmen and commandos allows construction of midget submarines. Alright, okay, Allied troops at Salerno reinforced. Okay. So now they've got some Americans. Okay, well, this is maybe enough of a problem that... Well... So just don't know, is there anything around here that I can get there in time that would be useful? You know, I got like headquarters and things and SA units, and but those aren't like really much. But, well, looks like the Italians don't have too much. They're sending down a couple of mechanized divisions. They're going to die eventually because they just don't, no matter what they take, they're not going to be able to get supplies. But I don't need Italy disrupted any more than it already is. So, yeah, we'll send you guys down here. Now we'll keep the Hermingering units together. Yeah, Brandenburg looks cool. We'll send some of these cool divisions down here. Probably end up just turning around and coming back home, but that should probably be enough by the time they get down there to deal with them. Okay, agricultural. Okay, oh, manpower. See, this is why I wanted this extra money, which, you know, lose 500 money, fine. Gain supplies, but mostly get both 100 manpower and a 10% bonus, so yes, we wanted to do that. For the year Furo Romanian, okay, lose 1 manpower, that's fine. And was that last thing an HQ or an air unit? No, HQ. Okay, probably don't really need that, but there we go. Put them in the chain of command. Sorry if I sound harsh on Germany and the Germans, and I'm not, again, blaming anyone alive, particularly today, on anything. It's just... And I'm definitely been informed, trust me, by definitely some of the good viewers of this channel, that Germans are educated and taught about the Nazis, but I still feel that there is a, and maybe I shouldn't even brought it back up for another time, but a sort of collective desire to I don't know, forget the problems, maybe. Maybe that's an unfair thing, but you know. Okay, why isn't it going? Because there's anti-aircraft guns here? There's... I don't know, because it looks like these guys are going to beat them marching in versus my airdrop. Okay, intercept of armaments, confirmation telegram. Confirmation telegram was sent to the Allies. The message, however, was intercepted by the German armed forces, which had long since begun suspected Italy was seeking separate armistice. The Germans contacted Battaglia. Okay. Oh God, this is something that could kill the series. I'm thinking. His reassurances were doubted by the Germans, and the Wehrmacht started to take decisive, effective plans. Operation Ench, to take control of Italy as soon as the Italian government had switched allegiances. Very interesting. We'll get the. Oh God, please no. I don't know why that's happening, because it's an event. I think it's on a time situation, but if it's happening because there's Italian, or because the Allies are in control in a place in Italy, but this is just ridiculous. Oh, they've also appeared down. Oh God. What the hell? You don't see me now sort of hand to head and going, and I'm still happy to be playtesting this, but oh God. Italy, I think it's happening too fast that it's a, this is just dropped off of from here, but so this is now going to be, oh God. Okay, well, I'm ending the episode here. I'm going to talk to revolverheld about this, or look into this stuff. This is now British territory. And the Italians can only now, not just take it back, but now it's going to be occupied British territory and no longer Italian territory. So, this just incredibly sucks. So, I'm going to have to repair this if I'm going to keep this going, because okay, yeah, well, sorry about this. Better that I find it than it stays in and becomes a problem. Okay. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for liking the videos and hearing me go on about things. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And, of course, I love hearing from you, so post questions, comments, suggestions, ideas. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.